Expansion is exciting, but bigger doesn't always mean better. The PWHL is adding 4 more teams, and while that's great for growing the game, I have some real concerns about what it could mean for the league's quality, competition, and future. Today, I'm diving into one of the biggest debates in women's hockey. Welcome to True Fan, True Opinions. I'm Sue. Around here, being a true fan doesn't mean blindly agreeing with everything your team does. It means caring enough to tell the truth. So let's talk sports, like fans do. Welcome back. So the PWHL has gone from 6 teams to 8, and now 12 teams in just 4 seasons. Is this exciting growth, or are we moving way too fast? Well, we're going to talk about this. So I'm going to start by giving you guys some growth timeline of the league. All right? For the ones that are not sure how this all came about. A little bit of context. So we started with the original 6 teams. Started in 2024. And then they got their names in 2025. Right? So we have Boston Fleet, Minnesota Frost, champions of the first 2 years. Our 3rd year champion, Montreal Victoires. We have New York Sirens, Ottawa Charge, and Toronto Scepters. Okay, so then season 3, they added 2 more teams. Seattle Torrent and the Vancouver Golden Eyes, which, by the way, I really love that name. And now season 4, which is coming up, is introducing 4 more teams. So we have Detroit, Hamilton, Las Vegas, and San Jose. Now I have a question for you. Would any professional league expand this quickly? Well, I think they will, if certain things happen, when certain criteria are met. So let's talk about that. The Olympics, right? The Olympics gave us a good reality on quality of play. We wanted more, especially when Canada and US played against each other, right? In the earlier rounds, or usually for gold. Those games are memorable. Great defense. The goalies are outstanding. It's rough. You could tell the players hate each other. And that's what we want. We want to see that, just like in the NHL. We would like to see that weekly. You want some urgency to grow the sport, right? Promoting the athletes. Right now, there's national players in Europe that aren't even playing. So we want to grow the sport. And we see that. There's a market for that. And there has to be great attendance. And not just the home cities where, let's say, Boston plays or Toronto plays. But what the league did is promote home games in other cities, right? They went to Pittsburgh. They went to Quebec. They went to Denver. They went to Chicago. More recently, Halifax. And there was many more cities. Some of the cities are where the expansion teams are going. Hamilton, Detroit, right? Seattle, Vancouver. They went up to Calgary. And all those attendance were great. They all cheered for the home team. They all cheered for the visiting team. And that's what you want. The fans that were going to these games were not just women, not just young girls. There was families going. There was men going. Men with their young boys. And the young boys were wearing jersey of these these elite star players. Poulet, Nurse, Spooner, Knight, Brenner. I mean, the list goes on. And that's great to see. And that helps with good TV ratings. People are watching. And that's another criteria. How is the ratings? Is it a game that they can promote and show on TV? Is it worth watching? And there's another reason for fast growth. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the PWHL, it operates under a single identity ownership structure. Okay, so this means the league itself owns and operates all the franchises, all the teams, rather than having one individual owner for each team. So that helps, right? Because now you got not one owner that has more money and doesn't know how to hire coaches or marketing or whatnot. So when you have that one ownership owning the league, it just helps overall promote all the teams, getting all the TV marketing out there, everything. So that's a good reason for leagues to expand when you have that one ownership. So yeah, for the reasons I've given you, I think any league would expand in 4 years of their existence. Not just because it's a women's league. I think any professional league would do that. So now let's share some positive and negative reasons why this league is growing so fast. The pros and cons, if you will. These are things that people are saying, the smarter people out there, and I'm going to share them with you. Reasons against. The locker rooms, they're changing. There's no chemistry. We saw it with Toronto and Boston last year. A lot of the players moved, went to new cities. I don't think the Toronto Raptors had a better year than the year prior, right? Same as Boston. So there's no chemistry being built or staying. That hurts the fan loyalty, right? The big names, the stars, the reasons why we're going to see them, like Knight, Nurse, Campbell, right? And now with these new teams, you got Maltese moving, Ambrios, Clark, Brenner. I mean, there's many more. So we're losing that fan loyalty. Too many teams hurt attendance. It can. There's going to be way more teams out there, 4 more. And is that going to hurt the fans? Maybe. And I think it's going to hurt positional players. Out of all the positions, I believe goaltending is going to get impact the most. There's not going to be enough development to bring these players up. And what's the hardest position? Goaltending. Is there going to be enough coaches to help these girls develop? I don't know. I mean, if you look at the past draft, they've only drafted 8 goalies. And none were in the first round. So is there going to be enough positions at an elite skill to continue fulfilling all these teams? And then speaking of the draft, there's too many expansions drafts. I know I don't like them. And then even for the teams, right? Who are they going to save? Who do they not want to leave? Are they worried they're going to get traded to another team? Who should they keep? Who's going to get paid the most? There's a lot of these questions. And when you're adding those expansion drafts, it just makes it more of a headache for them. And I think fans don't like them. I know I don't like it. I like the normal draft. Who's getting picked first? All this, who's going to get certain contracts? Who can't get moved? Who's going to get paid higher? Who's got to be moved with other players to develop other teams, right? To have the core players. So there's too many expansions draft for my liking. The talent will get diluted. As a fan, I want to see good quality of play. I want to see the same kind of grit, the playmakers from the Olympics, or at least almost to that level. I'm worried that there's going to be not enough players playing at elite level, and that's going to hurt the game. And that's going to bring a big difference between the top 2 lines to the bottom 3, the 3rd line and the 4th line, right? You're not going to have those core players. You're going to have the elite players, and then you're going to have players that maybe should not be at a professional level. And then there's the lack of junior development. So unlike the men's hockey, which relies a lot on their junior leagues, the CHL, college, they have a massive pipeline of depth for players. A lot of people can get developed at a lot of different levels, right? And with the women's, I believe they only rely on the NCAA division teams. And I think there's like 40, 42, 45 teams maybe. So where are these people going to get developed? And then you're talking about like qualified coaches, right? The whole coaching team, the scouting, the front office. Is there enough qualified people to go into these new teams, into these new cities? Anyways, those are some of the reasons out there that are against. And some of the reasons for. So more jobs for players. That's exciting. With these 4 teams alone, they're adding 92 roster spots, another 10, 12 reserve positions. And talking about the coaching, yeah, there's more opportunities for coaches. Scouting, personnel, front office, marketing, all that. So yeah, there's more jobs for everybody. And there's highly qualified professional ready athletes from NCAA and even from Europe that simply don't have a place to play right now. When college season is over, they're not playing anywhere. Europe, people are playing on their national teams are not playing. And we know with the player development, right? Proponents point out that playing and training every day in a dedicated professional environment, it naturally elevates a player's skill, right? Than playing part-time leagues. They're getting coached by professionals. They have the trainers. They're competing at a high level, right? So that's great. More Canadian US markets. So more jobs again. And not just for the hockey team, but for stadiums, arenas, concessions, marketing. And then you're talking about TV ratings, better national exposures for these players, for these teams. And another reason for, it helps that junior development from a young age. Because who are watching these ladies perform and play? Who are watching these teams? Young girls, our future. They're the ones that are dreaming. And dreaming not to just play, but to play professionally, to make a career out of it. So that helps in that way. And women's hockey is exploding. It's popular. So you need to feel the need. So yeah, you need those teams. And it gives us maybe even longer seasons, more games that they're going to play these teams because there's more teams, right? So they have to play everybody. There's going to be more games. Oh my God, even maybe an extra playoff round. So those are some of the reasons that people are throwing out there. Reasons for, reason against. Did I miss some? What do you guys think? The title of this episode is the PWHL expanding too fast? And you're thinking, Sue, what are your thoughts? Well, I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are. So for me to answer this question honestly, truthfully, I want to look at two things. Quality of play and the league identity. And what I mean by that, so quality of play. I want to see the balance of competitiveness between all the teams. Will the elite skill level drop? I'm going to say yes. And I know what you're going to say, Sue. There's a lot of players out there that can play right now. And yeah, I get it. But adding the last two teams last year, I saw a difference in the league. I saw a difference between the top two lines to the other two lines. And that worries me. That's what I don't want to continue happening. Because you saw in the NHL, we can argue that there's too many teams in the NHL. And there's some players that should not even be playing. We see it in baseball. So do we want that with this women's league when it's already really good quality of play? I don't. And then I'm going to look at the league identity. For me, that means have the fans had enough time to build loyalty or hatred for these players? I mean, the league has only been in existence for 3 years. Yes, I know a lot of us has followed hockey for many, many years with the Olympics. When they have the world championships, when they play against each other, the U.S. against the Canadian. And I get it. We've watched a lot of hockey. They've been around for a while. We are talking about professional league. And the fan base, it's all about loyalty, hating the other team, hating certain players. And had we had enough time to have that? Well, maybe, yeah, some. I know I have my loyalties to certain players. To a team, I don't know. I was really dedicated to Toronto the first year. The last couple of years, I've been watching a little bit of everything. I have my players that I love. I have my players that I hate. But I still think the league needs people to be involved with the players and the teams, right? When we think of the NHL, we think of Alberta and Edmonton, right? The Battle of Alberta. Toronto and Ottawa in the playoffs hate each other. The original six is still Boston and Montreal, right? So, there's Pittsburgh Penguins and Philadelphia Flyers. Like, there is teams that just don't like each other. And it goes beyond that the players are playing now. And I think the league has only been around for 3 years, going on 4, and we need a little bit more of that, right? Even for the players themselves. Have they built enough time for loyalty with their own team? Maybe some because they started year 1, but a lot of them have left. Nurse left Toronto, right? Knight left Boston and went to another team and another team. So again, for me, the league identity, I don't think there was enough yet. So when I look back at the quality of play question for me and the league identity play question for me, yeah. What do I think? Yeah, I think the PWHL is expanding too fast. And I'm torn because I love the women's hockey and I want these teams to do so well. And I want more teams. I would love 24 team league, but I want good hockey. I want those elite players. And I want it to be just awesome. I don't want to go and watch somebody play and go, oh my God, what did she just do? Like maybe I can even do that better. Doubt it, but maybe. Right? So I'm torn. I want to see more teams. I do. I just think a little too fast, a little too soon. Now, if I was running the PWHL, if I was the big boss, the commissioner, I think I would do a few things a little different going into this year. Well, one, I definitely would wait another 2 years, 3 years for expansion, for adding not even 4 teams, maybe 2 teams, right? But give it a couple years. Maybe increase the roster depth, right? Before expanding. Get a couple more girls on the team. Develop them. Get them to know what a professional is and not just playing at college level. Give a chance to the city, to the fans, to build rivalries against other teams. Let the players get that loyalty with the teams. So after 6, 7 years being with the team, do you really want to trade them? So yeah, let that happen. So I would wait. And maybe make the season a little bit longer. Add another 6 games. Maybe add an extra round of playoffs. Or have the series go a little bit longer. I don't know. But maybe let's just keep having this league thrive a little bit, right? Let the pace keep going. They're doing well. Do we really want to hurt, again, the quality of play? So let's hope I'm wrong that the league is moving too fast, adding teams, because I want this league to succeed. I want it to continue to grow with great players. I want to have fun watching good players. Now, when the league did announce these 4 upcoming teams, the PWHL did make an announcement that it would pause expansion for the next few seasons. And what they said was, this gives the current 12-team ecosystem room to stabilize. It allows fans to bond with the new franchises, and it gives the global player pool time to catch up with the league's rapid growth. And that's what we were talking about today. Maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe the PWHL do know why they're expanding so fast. And that's what we ultimately want as hockey fans. We want more teams with great players that the fans can be passionate about, to enjoy it. All right, so we debated expansion, talked about my concerns, I mentioned a few of my opinions, and now let's have a little fun. The 4 new PWHL teams don't have official names yet, which means fans have been having a blast coming up with some ideas. So let's check out some of the rumors and fan favorite names, and I'll let you know which ones get my vote and which ones I'm definitely not cheering for. Who knows? Maybe one of these names will actually become a PWHL team someday. Let's start the name game. So Detroit. Detroit's have decided on their colors. They're going to be black, silver, and a little bit of red and white. So some of the names out there that fans and the organization or whatnot came up with, there's Detroit Vipers, Detroit Torque, Detroit Soul, and Detroit Riveters. And I'm going to add Detroit Bullets. So my favorite, which one I really like, Detroit Vipers. Now, not the snake, but the car. And when I think of a Viper, I think it's strong, it's fast, it's aggressive, and even it's easy to chant, right guys? Let's go Vipers, let's go. So to me, that would be perfect. I do not like Detroit Soul. I know why it's out there for the music. I get it. I don't like it. And a little bit of history with the Vipers. I looked it up. It's not new for the Detroit area. There was a hockey league, IHL, that ran from 1994 to 2001. And Detroit's team was called the Vipers. And they also won their cup. I believe it was called the Turner Cup in 1997. So there's some hockey history there. And with Detroit, they love their hockey. So my vote is the Detroit Vipers. All right, so now we move to Hamilton. And they decided on the colors, gold, maroon, and cream. And then some of the names that are floating out there are Hamilton Hammers, Hamilton Steel Storms, Hamilton Steel Town, and I'm going to throw one out there, Hamilton Hawks. So I don't like Hamilton Hammers. I thought I did at first, but I don't really like it. I actually like my name, Hamilton Hawks. So when I think of a hawk, to me, this animal represents speed, precision. They're intelligent, and they are fearless. So why wouldn't you want these qualities for your team? Agree or disagree? You tell me. So again, Hamilton Hawks is my favorite. I do not like hammers. All right, so now let's move to Las Vegas. They are going with the colors green, golden yellow, and white. Interesting. Not really my favorite colors, but okay. And then some of the names floating out there, you got Las Vegas Mirage, Las Vegas Outbacks, Las Vegas Valkyries, and my two that I came up with, Las Vegas Crowns, or even Las Vegas Venom. So I really like Las Vegas Venom, right? With the rattlesnakes in Vegas. I don't like Las Vegas Outbacks. That's not my favorite. But I really like Las Vegas Valkyries. The name comes from the Norse mythology, and they were fearless female warriors. So you tell me that doesn't sound like a hockey team. So yeah, that's my favorite. Las Vegas Outbacks, not my favorite. Okay, so the fourth team, San Jose. They're going with colors that I think are going to look really sharp on a jersey. It is orange, blue, and white. And some of the names that are rumored that are out there are San Jose Wave, San Jose Selkies, and San Jose Calaveras. And I'm going to throw out my favorite, or the name I thought for them, San Jose Storm. So I really don't like Wave, San Jose Wave. I'm not 100% sure. Could be the TV show on Netflix that I like, Running Point. If you haven't seen it, really good with Kate Hudson. And I believe their basketball team is called the Waves. So maybe that's why I'm not crazy for it. But I really, really like San Jose Selkies. I think that's awesome. So I looked it up. A Selkie is a mystical creature from the Scottish and Irish folklore. It's a seal from the ocean that turns into a human on land. Okay, and they symbolize strength, resilience, mystery, beauty, and adaptability. So who, again, wouldn't want that for their hockey team? I just think it's a total cool name for a West Coast team. All right, so those are the names that are out there. I told you the ones I like, the ones I don't like. Now, here are some other names that I really liked that maybe one day we'll see. Or maybe we'll see it for these teams. There's Vortex, Phoenix, really like that one, Blades, Ravens, Wolves, Summit, Aurora, Nova. So those are some names that I threw out there. Let me know what you think of these. And what should the teams be? Which names did you like? Have you thought of other names? I'm curious. Let me know. I got one final question for everybody about this expansion. In 5 years from now, will we look back and call this brilliant or rushed? I want to know. I want your feedback. I want your comments. I want your honest opinion. Before I wrap up this episode, I want to share a Sue's True moment. One of my favorite sports memories wasn't a championship or a game-winning goal. It was walking into my very first PWHL game. As I sat there watching these incredible athletes compete, I couldn't help but think back to when I was a little girl. I loved sports. I loved hockey. But there was never a professional women's league to dream about. There wasn't a women's NHL. There wasn't a path that made you believe maybe one day that could be me. For a moment, I wasn't just watching a hockey game. I was seeing the dream I never had the chance to chase. And that's why this league matters so much to me. Yes, we can debate expansion. We can question whether it's happening too quickly. We can worry about the talent being spread too thin. Those are fair conversations, and that's what this podcast is all about. But no matter where you stand on expansion, one thing is undeniable. Little girls today are growing up with something I never had. They can wear a jersey with a woman's name on the back. They can watch these players on TV. They can go to a game and say, one day, I want to do that. And that's powerful. So while I have concerns about the pace of expansion, I'll never stop cheering for what this league represents. Because every girl deserves to believe there's a place for her in this sport. And honestly, that makes me incredibly proud. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of True Fan, True Opinions. If you enjoyed today's conversation, I really appreciate it if you follow the show, leave a review, and share it with another sports fan. And don't forget, I want to hear your thoughts. Did you agree with my takes? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments or on social media. Until next time, keep cheering, keep believing, and remember, chin up, don't give up. I'm rooting for you.